good evening, everybody in Australia, and good day to everybody else around the world. Look, thank you very much for joining me. It's an absolute honour to share my story with you today, and I'm delighted that you're all able to join me. I'd love to give you a little bit of background because that's really where it starts. My name is Beata Koropatwa. I live in Melbourne. I'm a Pro 6 and I'm a mum of 2 children, and I wear many other hats which I'll go into in a minute. When I was asked to do this, I thought I was absolutely compelled to share my story and my experience with you all, you know, and see if that inspires you or if it wakes up something in you the way it did me. So to give you a little bit of my background, I actually come from one of the poorest suburbs in this country, a place called Inala, and I'm very proud Inala. And growing up, we really didn't have a great deal, but I think, you know, from my parents, we were always taught to share and to give, and you know, despite the fact that we didn't have a great deal, you know, that was a culture that was inbred in myself and my sister and brother. So I'm a girl from Inala that did really well. I became a lawyer and I worked as a lawyer, and then after that I actually started my own businesses. So that's kind of the background, and right throughout, you know, my career, there was always this philanthropic side where I always believed, you know, that I had to give back in order to get, and now that's a philosophy that I really am very comfortable with and stringent with. So we'll jump to today. Today I have many hats. I'm the CEO of a technology company, which I founded. It's now in its 26th year. I have an executive coaching company called The Confidant, and that's coming into its 7th year. I was up until recently the chair of Crohn's and Colitis Australia, where we looked after 75,000 members with Crohn's disease, and I enjoyed that role immensely. I'm also the chair of our family foundation, which again I'm very proud of. So the common thread with all of these businesses is they were of service to people. And often people ask me, why are you involved in this business? And for me, it was really the experience that I had. So I was feeling very tired. I was, for the first time in my life, feeling quite anxious. And I'd never kind of really experienced that because I was always very measured and very level-headed. And what I found, I actually came out of a board meeting one night and I was really quite distressed because normally I can, you know, speak freely and I'm confident in my speech, and yet this evening I couldn't put 2 words together, so much so that I was actually quite concerned that I had a neurological problem, and I thought I've got to go and see a neurologist. And believe you me, getting me to a doctor is really difficult, and I'm not a hypochondriac, but that's the state that I was in because I was really quite desperate, and this, you know, lack of energy and brain fog had been going on quite some time for me. So when I was introduced to Protandim, I thought, look, I'm just prepared to give it a go. You know, it was, the cost of it was ridiculous compared to the results and the testimonials that I'd heard, you know, it being less than half a cup of coffee a day. I thought, look, I'll try it. And to my absolute surprise, by day 10, I was back to my normal self. I was, you know, the anxiety, the nervous system was calm. I was back to being happy. There was no anxiety, and I felt as sharp as a tack. And of course, with my lawyer hat on, I was quite skeptical. But then I shared it with a few friends, you know, equally friends who had fairly high-powered jobs, and the results were the same. And this continued right throughout the period of every time I shared it. And I think within the first 2 weeks, I thought, I've got to share this with 1 million people. So of course I did, and I started sharing it with everybody. To my absolute astonishment, the results were consistent. You know, people were sleeping better. Their nervous systems were calmer. And, you know, as an executive coach, quite often, you know, we're directing, you know, company directors or CEOs to calm, you know, to operate from a place of calm, because that way you're a lot more focused. So this was quite extraordinary for me. The product itself was, it was just mind-blowing to me. And I read a statement which really resonated with me. And that statement was from the Washington State University. And they'd made a declaration that, you know, NRF2 is the most extraordinary breakthrough in therapeutic and medical history. And, you know, they're a very well-respected university, a medical university. So then that took my interest. And again, putting on my lawyer's hat, I thought I'm just going to do some more delving and due diligence into the product. And, you know, that led me to PubMed, which is the World Medical Journal and scientific journal where all the, you know, doctors go to and scientists. It's a medical library. And there was 27 published studies on there, you know, of Protandim. And, you know, I don't believe there's any other product or supplement that has that many studies on PubMed. Now, we don't like to call it a supplement because it's not. We don't like to call it a medical or a pharmaceutical because it's not. It's actually an activator, and you know, it activates the cells in your body and wakes it up, and your body then starts doing what it's actually meant to do. And we've got a really incredible US study. Of course, that was performed in the US, and that is, you know, they tried Protandim on quite a number of people, and they actually received the same results. And those results were that Protandim actually reduces oxidative stress by 40% within 30 days, which was a remarkable claim. And again, I had to investigate that because, you know, I was a little bit skeptical, but then when I read it, I was just blown away. I thought, I've never seen anything like it. I can't believe it. You know, apart from all of that, the results that I was having and that people around me, it really was a life changer for me. So that's, you know, given that, I started investigating the business, and you know, the business itself is really quite extraordinary. It's a biomedical company, and you know, for people who follow the share market, they know that biomedical companies have done extremely well over the last 2 decades. The company is listed on the NASDAQ, and it really perked my interest. And I thought, well, look, if I've got these results, and I'm probably the most skeptical person on the planet in regards to these things and the people around me, there's something in this that I decided I'd become a shareholder of it. And today I am so proud to say that I've been a part of this company 14 months, and our share price has tripled on the NASDAQ. And, you know, it's set to hit $1 billion within 3 to 5 years. You know, it's a growing business, and it's quite an extraordinary business. So many people said to me, you know, why have you started this company? I love this life. Why are you promoting this product? Because this product helps people. It changes lives. And I almost felt this social conscience that I need to share this with so many people, because, you know, so many people need help these days. So many people are suffering with anxiety, you know, they're suffering with a lack of sleep, and they just need some support. And many people can't afford to go to naturopaths and pay, you know, hundreds of dollars. I myself, prior to starting on Protandim, I was taking up to 10 supplements per day, you know, and it was costing me between $300 and $400. Now, you know, that's quite expensive. It's certainly expensive for a lot of people. And therefore, that also perked my interest. And I thought, you know what, everybody can be on this. It's like taking a vitamin, that it's such an important thing. And then when I read studies about prevention, you know, I thought I can take this like it's a vitamin, but also it's the prevention that interests me more. You know, we've got a scientific study that shows and proves that this increases lifespan by 7%. You know, that's a really big claim, and you know, but it's true, and the science is there. So for me these days, absolutely, I feel better. You know, I have great sleep. There is a byproduct to it, and the byproduct is it's actually reversing the signs of aging. And I quite often, you know, have people now ask me what I'm doing. It's the product. I mean, it's the byproduct of it. You know, while your cells are renewing and reactivating, of course, your skin's going to look younger. And, you know, and here, living proof. Have a look at my Facebook, you know, 14 months ago. It's really quite extraordinary. But coming back to the business, you know, this business was a no-brainer for me. You know, being in business and starting up companies, I knew what was required to run a really successful business, you know, and the first thing was the product. I mean, the product is unique in the world. It's scientifically proven, it's got patents. You know, that was a big tick for me that said, yeah, okay, we're onto something here. We've got the product. You know, the testimonials, you know, thousands and thousands of testimonials around the world. That was a second tick for me. You know, when I started, I think we were in 7 markets. Today we're in 22 markets and opening up as we go. You know, being listed on the NASDAQ means that it's all very transparent. You know, there's reports and everything that you can go back to and have a look. So for me, that was absolutely a no-brainer. But I think the most important aspect of this business is that I saw that it's at the base level. Okay. You know, in business, it's like when I'll give the example of Steve Jobs with Apple. You know, when he was in his garage mucking around with iPhones, I don't think there was, you know, too many people knocking on his door saying, hey, I'd like to invest. Okay, we're at the base level, but we're at the base level that's already been proven. You know, we've got all the marketing, we've got all the science, we've got, you know, we've got the momentum building, but we're not quite yet at momentum. And at the moment, we are at that base level. So that's what I recognise. And I thought, I've got to get in. I've got to get in as a distributor. And I've also got to get in as a shareholder, because this company is going to fly. And the last 13, 14 months have actually been evidence of that. So, you know, that early entry of getting into a business is absolutely imperative. So I think, to sum it all up, you know, that's my background, that's my story. I came into this business because I wanted to help people with their health. I equally wanted to help people run their business. You know, I've got nearly 27 years of experience in business. I've got expertise. I've got, you know, I know what you can do right and what you can do wrong. And for me, it was about helping others run a business and show them how they can have a plan B, or show them how they can actually run their business on the side. And, you know, some of our entry levels, you know, our Pro 3, our rank, you know, you can earn $500 a month. That's a lot of money for some people. You know, that can be life-changing. That can be a mortgage, or that can be a, you know, a school fee payment, or it can be a holiday. So I think, you know, given that the entry level of entering this business is phenomenal. And, you know, for me, again, it's about helping people and leading them and showing them the way to run their business so that they can truly look after their families as a plan B or as a business. So I think, to sum it all up, you know, I'm so grateful to my girlfriend Susan Young, who introduced me. This business is all from the heart. When I met the executives, they all had the same philosophy, you know, and the philosophy is my philosophy, which is help people and then the rewards will follow. And on that note, I'm off to Utah next week, because I've won my 4th trip, I think it is. And again, it is. It was not about the rewards, not about the accolades. That's not important to me. But what is important to me is that I am genuinely helping people with their health and well-being, and I am helping business partners run their business successfully and showing them what it feels like to run your own business and then make money and then share it with people. It is truly tremendous. So I'm so grateful. So I hope that's a great insight for you. And on that note, I'd love to thank you all for your time and thank you for joining me all around the world. Always grateful and really appreciate you all. And until next time, I bid you good night.